There's a pretty cool episode ahead of us because today we are joined by our friend Gustav from Berlin.
Hey,
He's an
Gustav.
apprentice for becoming a zookeeper, which is, in my opinion, a very cool topic because I know that we have a couple of young listeners who are also probably thinking about, okay, how can I, professionalize this whole animal thing and everything. So here we've got somebody who is doing it, he's living it. Gustav, maybe you can take just 2 or 3 minutes to introduce yourself to the people who don't know you yet.
Yeah, of course, no problem. Yeah, I'm Gustav. I'm from Flensburg in Germany. That's in the north of Germany. And almost a half year ago, I decided to move to Berlin to do my apprenticeship as a zookeeper. And yeah, it was pretty easy for me to make this decision because yeah, all my life I had animals at home, exotic animals, and also normal animals like dogs and everything. And yeah, I keep reptiles and insects for almost 10 years now at home. I have tarantulas and also some snakes and lizards. Yeah, but that's not so important because my work is more important for me now. Yeah, I choose to be a zookeeper because nothing is greater than make your hobby your job. And also, I read a lot about it, and yeah, I decided that it will help me in life because you also go to school while you do an apprentice as a zookeeper, and there you learn a lot, not just how you clean cages, also about how you see if the animal is healthy, if it's well fed, and if
All right.
yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the rain system from my terrarium, and
We all can relate.
yeah,
All
now
right,
my
nice. So, first of all, thank you. Till, my wonderful co-host today. Sorry for not introducing you.
No problem.
Um, did you ever think about becoming a zookeeper, like taking it to the next level, like Gustav is doing, or how was it like for you?
Yeah, actually, yes. Gustav, do you know the Aqua Zoo in Düsseldorf by any chance? Yeah, it's a pretty small zoo. It's, I think, half zoo and half natural history museum. Also more focused on aquariums, reptiles and stuff. And yeah, I also wanted to start an apprenticeship there, but they would be renovating the whole zoo and stopped the apprenticeship program. So I decided to become a office person, which is not much more interesting. But yeah, and I'm wondering, did you, was it your first wish to go to the Berlin Zoo, or were you kind of open to which zoo you wanted to start?
um, I didn't care really, but here in Berlin is one of the best zoos in the world. We have all animals almost, especially because of the aquarium next to it. And for me, it was great because original I came from Berlin. Until I was 6, I lived here, and now I live here at my grandparents' house. So yeah, it's good. I don't have to pay rent. It's near to the
Oh,
zoo.
that's nice.
So it was the it was the first choice. And yeah, especially because I like aquariums and terrariums, insects, fish, reptiles, everything in this direction. And the Berlin Zoo has like a special program. It's how can I say it? It's not like official, but I do the apprenticeship as a zookeeper. But like unofficial, I do the apprenticeship as a zookeeper with focus on terroristic and aquaristic.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
the apprenticeship go 3 years, and only the first year I'm in the zoo. And yeah, I can tell a little bit about the apprenticeship.
Okay.
I'm in every, how I say, Revier.
Department.
Yeah, area.
Yeah, in every department. For example, seals,
Hoofed
monkeys.
animals.
Yeah,
Okay.
the birds and
Birds.
everything. In every department, I am for 3 weeks. Normally, when you do the apprenticeship in the Zoo Berlin, you're in every department for 8 weeks, but I'm only for 3 weeks because I'm only in the Berlin Zoo for 1 year. After that, I switched to the aquarium next to it.
Ah,
It's
so
the
that's a
same thing.
separate
They have the
institution?
no, not really. The Zoo Berlin, the Zoo Aquarium Berlin, and the Tierpark Berlin, they all
Uh-huh.
together. They share the same money. They have the same director,
Director or ownership.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
and
public places.
so then I switched to the aquarium, and then I worked for 2 years there. I'm not sure how it really goes, but I think I'm half a year I'm sea water, half a year I'm fresh water, half a year I'm with the reptiles, half a year I'm with the um, insects. I'm not sure about that, but probably it will be like that.
Okay.
So it's not like that when I'm finished, it's not like that on my letter that stands zookeeper, not like zookeeper for terrariums, but yeah, unofficial, it's zookeeper for terrariums and aquariums. And yeah, maybe it's also nice to know if you want to start as a zookeeper, uh, you have, while you're doing your apprenticeship, it's in the Berlin like this. You have to write for every department a Komplexbericht. It's
Uh-huh.
where
Like a
you write,
thesis. Okay.
where 10 letters, 10,
Mhm.
10, 10
Pages.
sheets, no, what is pages,
Pages.
thanks.
Pages, yeah.
10 pages about one animal from this department. For example, I wrote about the Bali star.
Mm.
Right now, I am writing because I'm with the monkeys right now. I'm about the Weißbauch-Zwergseidenäffchen.
Oh,
Then it's your turn to pull
the
up the letter name.
pygmy marmoset.
Yeah,
The
probably.
Cibuella
And
pygmea. Yeah. They're amazing.
and
Okay, I love them.
yeah, it's nice because then you're like getting into this animal, and especially now it's really cool because I almost created the cage for them because we have them really new. Today is the first day where you can see them in the zoo actually. Before
Nice.
they were like backstage, and the past week, I did the outside cages, designed everything so everything looks cool like that. So we have the cages are flying. It's a little because it's an old building. The cages are flying. It's not so it doesn't look so cool, but yeah, we have to work what we have. And so that the tree where they go came out from the building and just flows in one direction, not like back then when you just
Everything
some
randomly.
sticks.
Okay.
Um, and also
Nice. So that's
inside.
like terrascaping. You're kind of
Yeah,
painting
yeah,
a picture.
almost. Wait.
Nice. That's the art of it.
Maybe from the inside, we had plants from the gardeners because you have own gardeners,
That's
and
practical.
I created the inside together with our curator, and yeah, we worked together. And now, hopefully, when I show it in the camera, probably it
Okay.
reflects a
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
bit.
nice.
Nice.
Yeah, that's one of the inside cages.
You have the
Uh,
jungle
they,
vines. Oh, that's
yeah,
nice.
they are.
What's the
They are.
substrate like? It
That's
is.
pinion decor
Okay. Pine bark.
So
with leaves,
Primark, yeah.
and yeah,
Okay.
we created that's a five.
All
I got
right.
the fruit
Yeah,
from
that's
fruit from
okay.
them. What was that? Um, we
Yeah, but
created 5 of the cages. They're all connected together. Back then, that was almost one cage. It's often in Berlin because it's really old buildings that like you have a lot of cages together
Yeah.
connected. Because back then, in every cage was like one monkey,
One
and
giraffe
now,
back in the day. No,
uh,
today.
now they're all connected, so they have bigger cages, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
amazing because those little cages are, I think, 3 by 3 by 3, probably, maybe 2.5 by 2.5. And those little monkeys now have so much space, and we released them today. Yeah, it was quite fun to see what you created, and especially so we have plants in this holders top,
The pots.
top pot,
Yeah,
pot,
pot. Yeah.
and so you don't see them as a visitor. So with the cork and everything, yeah, what fun.
Man,
And
that's nice. Yeah, the pygmy marmosets, they also in the wild they like to chew on the tree bark to feed
yeah,
the tree sap, right? And
yeah,
so maybe you can if you have gardeners at the zoo, maybe you can ask them if they can cut down some fresh branches of some fruit trees or something, from cherry trees or peach tree or
yeah.
something. Maybe you can just put it inside so they can have some enrichment.
Yeah, we have special sticks where we have like little holes in it, and then this gummi arabicum,
Yeah,
we mix it and then we put it in the holes and they lick it, and yeah, they have a lot of fun with that.
man, that's
It-
nice.
It's cool
Yeah,
that
but
you already get involved in like
yeah,
creating your
yeah,
own projects and not just like, you're the apprentice, please just sweep
no.
the floor or something like this, because that way you learn much more. Cool.
In every department, there's one special person who is there for taking care of us, um, for us apprentices, and who do also like lessons with us. Once a week, we have a big lesson where we all came together, all apprentices, and we talk about pellets or about the special about parrots, about like a big topic.
Yeah.
And then in every department you have almost personal lessons, where, for example, now with the monkeys, a colleague of me, Leonard is his name, he tell me about everything about the systematic, like
Ah, okay. The
I don't know
evolution,
English
genetics,
words. Yeah, like primates and red-nosed
lemurs.
primates,
Ah, okay.
wine-nosed primates, and then from so and because it's always something you get asked when in your Prüfung,
Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
the final exam.
in your final exam, and yeah,
Huh.
so
Did you
you
also
you
speak
really learn
about
a lot. It's not just putting shit away from the animals.
did you also speak about the tupaya when you spoke about the evolutionary history of the primates?
No,
Ah, not so much. Okay, because like when you go back, what came before the primates? When you ask that question, then you will find some very interesting answers. And for example, have you ever heard of a kulugu?
That.
no.
A cool. I think you spell it like Colougou or something like that. I don't know.
Ein Riesengleiter.
Yeah, a kulugu. That's like
Der
maybe you can call
wollte.
it a giant glider in English or something. Uh, it's
That's
like this
cool.
weird mix of a bat and a monkey,
It's
and they
pretty
have
Oh,
strange. I just Googled it.
yeah, they
Yeah.
have these huge gliding surfaces, and they can glide through the air for 100 meters or something. And
Wow.
I'm thinking they are the closest living relative to the primates. And before that, it's the tree shrews.
Mm.
And before that, then there's bats and the moles and shrews and stuff. But actually, the tree shrews, they are pretty close to the primates, so that's what also makes them so interesting.
Interesting. Okay. Didn't knew
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So when you are now really deeply thinking about animals like the Bali starling, you said, or the pygmy marmosets, and also all the other species that you work with at the zoo, do you ever think that you, I don't know, found a new favorite animal? Because you get to know them so much better, you work with them, and so you have a different experience than just knowing them from the books and the internet.
yeah. So yeah, it's difficult because often the most unique animals are also the animals who you don't really can get near.
Mhm.
So they are often really shy. They really
Shy.
the English
Right.
shy. Yeah, of course. So, but for example, the plumplori. Yeah,
The
that's
slow
now
loris.
one of my favorites.
Ah,
That's one of my favorites. But yeah, especially in the bird stuff, the tubercle hocko is now one of my favorite because
Oh.
it just was the individual. He was so aware of his surroundings and always got to me and get me little presents. He picked up stones, and then I had to take the stones and beautiful stone, really nice of you. And he was so happy.
Did
And
it,
he
it, it,
was so
it's,
happy.
it was a male or a female?
A male, and the
He,
problem because
he
he
didn't
was
have a
behaving like
partner?
that.
He's
Yeah, but
gay?
because
He was trying to
no,
flirt with you, I think.
yeah, he was trying to flirt with me for sure. But he was, he's now I think 15 years old,
Oh, wow.
and back then he was a Handaufzucht. He was
Hand
kept
Hand
with
raised, yeah.
hand raised, yeah. So like with all hand raised animals, you have little problems that because zoos nowadays don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
So our zoo don't do it anymore. Yeah, but back then it was normal also with the primates. For example, we have a really sweet Klammeraffe.
Uh-huh. I don't know how you
Benjamin.
say.
I Google it.
Some South
Yeah,
American medium-sized monkey.
yeah, with this long tail, with this grip tail, you know. And she is such a lovely girl. She always gets to the cage gitter, the
Yeah, okay, wire fence.
yeah, to the cage wire, and then she puts a hand through it, and you can
Oh
hug
man,
her, and
Wow.
she
crazy.
loves it. But she loves it, and also when she eats, and you can tickle her belly, and she makes weird noises, and she's obviously happy. But because she's hand raised, she doesn't breed because she wants to breed with us as humans.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but that's with some old animals. So
Yeah, also I've
yeah,
heard that
you have to
sometimes
do.
it can be an issue that the hand-raised animals they don't raise the young. Maybe then they
Yeah,
give birth to babies, especially the primates where there's a huge social thing, going on. They maybe don't have the skills to handle the situation and then they neglect the babies. That's what can oftentimes happen,
yeah.
right?
That's because luckily she don't breed anyways with her male, but even if she would, we would like give her the pill or something.
Ah,
Um, yeah, but with other animals, for example, our Eulenkopfmeerkatze, whatever it is in English.
mhm.
Some kind of
Um,
meerkat, I think.
yeah, some kind of meerkat, correct.
No,
They
meerkat,
breed
that's
every
something
once a
else.
year they get
Okay.
babies, and here we are one of the only two zoos in Germany who has them. It's really special to work with them because I
Mhm.
think only we and Leipzig have them. So yeah, some animals raise and also the endangered animals, and yeah, we lay the focus to breed with the endangered.
Yeah, makes sense.
With
Yeah,
go
I'm
ahead, sorry.
I'm thinking what would you do till if you I don't know were a zookeeper and you found like a baby monkey in a cage neglected by its mother?
I
Yeah,
don't
that's
think I'm the
difficult.
right
Probably
person to ask.
No, because
I would probably
it's
not be allowed to take it, but
Mm.
yeah, it depends. Probably, I'm not sure. Yeah, because I'm only apprentice. um, Probably depends on how, yeah, if there's
yeah,
any chance to
Yeah.
survive, but probably
yeah, it's difficult.
depends also on the species. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a difficult topic, but it's not a decision that you have to make for the moment.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah, yeah.
thankful.
Is
Maybe if
it
you are lucky, you could be the one raising the
yeah.
baby. Maybe one day.
Yeah, it's there are crazy stories about the old zookeepers like 30 years back when they really had tiger babies and they took them home to feed them at
Wow.
home with the bottle and everything. Yeah, that's now not anymore like this. It's now all in
Unthinkable,
the
right?
zoo, and yeah, you can just you try it so they don't get attached to us humans.
Yeah.
So yeah.
With your focus on the, let's say, reptiles in your apprenticeship, um, do they have this kind of unofficial program because they want to raise a new generation of zookeepers that's already dedicated to the terrarium and aquarium, so that uh, are they already planning to so that the aquarium will be your workspace when you finish your apprenticeship?
Yeah, kind of. So of course I have the last word. I can ask if I can work in the zoo, but most likely the most others who do the apprenticeship in this direction, they work at least for a few years in the aquarium. And I know zookeepers who do this apprenticeship for the aquarium, who work now, for example, with the big cats or something. But the most of them stay in the aquarium. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking you will probably stay in the area of Berlin. Or do you ever think about going somewhere else? Because I'm thinking
That's difficult.
the people from the zoo world, they need to be flexible because there's not so many places to work, you know? And if
Yeah.
you want to stay in a certain city, then you only have one zoo to choose from. And if they don't have like an offer for you, if they don't have capacity, then maybe you need to move places, right? It's the same
Yeah.
for some people that I've met from the zoo world, you know, they all need to be super flexible. Just a couple of weeks ago, there was a homie who I got to know over Instagram. He was just living in this area for a couple of weeks, but actually for the moment he's working in Copenhagen, but he comes from the Netherlands, and you know, um, do you think about that sometimes, or do you just want to go with the flow?
Yeah, both. So I would be really lucky if I can stay in Berlin because it's a great zoo. There's also everyone I met now who work there is really, really nice. But if there's no chance for me to work there, I have to move. But then I was thinking more about doing it in another country. For example, like moving for 5 years to Africa and help there, like in a project there, because when you're a zookeeper and you know a lot about the physics, about the right um, enrichment stuff and everything, you wanted in other countries, like in some African countries where they have programs to breed some meerkats or whatever. And that would be when I can't work in the Berlin, the zoo aquarium. I probably would do this for like 5 years and then try to return to Berlin.
Yes.
Hmm.
But did they tell you with the start of your apprenticeship how the chances are? Because I know, generally speaking, there are some jobs or companies that only take apprentice and then let them go after finishing their apprenticeship, and others are like, no, we want to keep them because, yeah, building these apprenticeship is also pretty expensive, I think, for companies or zoos. So do you think they have the goal to keep you all if you're doing a good job?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
I think from every year before our year now, almost everyone got into working really there as a zookeeper.
Nice.
And you normally don't have problems when you do a great job, of course, to get a
Okay, contractual.
Vertrag
Yeah, contract.
Yeah,
yeah.
nice. It gives
Okay, I'm
you a
crossing
sense of
fingers for you.
safety.
Yeah, yeah. And what's really interesting, it's these moving to another continent to do the zookeeper thing. Because at the
Also
end of
pretty
the
cool.
day, it is, you know, it's still the same animals, you know, you're just doing it somewhere else. And I'm sure that you can learn a lot. Also, like about the feeding of the animals, because you have such different food sources available, all the local vegetables and fruits,
Yeah,
maybe, especially in
yeah.
the tropics.
Yeah, that's also a big problem for us in the zoos because, for example, a lot of when we take a few Capuciner
Capuchin
monkeys, for
monkeys.
example,
Yeah.
yeah, they in the wild they eat mostly fruits, but we can't feed them fruits because here in Germany, or like in every other country in Europe or industrial country, the fruits have way more sugar in it than the original fruits. So we feed them mostly vegetables because, for example, a carrot have almost the same amount of fruit sugar like a wild apple. And yeah, so we have to feed them different, but only for the good of them. Because when we
Uh-huh.
only give them fruit, when we give them papaya and mango and apple, what they would love it. But the problem is, yeah,
Yeah.
they get
That.
diabetes and die. So it's not good for them. And so
Yeah.
they get, yeah, some insects because a lot of them
That's,
are carnivores, and also then vegetables instead of fruits. Um, yeah, in case you ever wondered why carrots and that stuff are in cages from monkeys who normally in the wild only eat fruits, yeah, it's because of that.
yeah. I think that can be a super interesting topic to study. Like if you go to, for example, let's say Africa, and you do like animal keeping over there, and you, yeah, try to build the best possible food plan for the monkeys over there. And then you take these locally available vegetables and then do analysis of the exact compounds, the ingredients, yeah, the
Yeah,
ratio of carbohydrate to protein to fat, whatever. I think that can be very valuable data because I'm sure you can have a very good diet down there if you do it right, and then we can try to adapt with what's available here.
yeah, it will also what would be cool when if there's like a farm or something in Germany who grew this wild fruits, like just low sugar fruits. That would be great. Probably it would
Yeah.
then be too expensive for zoos because, yeah,
Uh,
we are a company and only limited by money. Of course, we have that much money that the animals have the greatest possible care, but yeah, if there
you don't have
would be cool to
unlimited
plant
money.
like
Yeah.
a wild. Yeah, would be cool to have unlimited money and have like really everything perfect. That would be great. But yeah,
What they do,
it's
for
not a,
example, in the Zoo Leipzig is they have this this farm for eucalyptus for the koala bear,
yeah, yeah.
and they
We
have
also
like,
have
yeah,
bamboo farm for the pandas,
Yeah.
I think yeah, especially for the pandas, bamboo farm in French. I think I'm not sure.
yeah,
Did your work at the zoo, even though that you are still with the classic zoo animals and not in the aquarium section, do you think that the experience you made so far during your time in the zoo changed your style of keeping or your perspective on your hobby?
Yeah, kind of. Now I look way deeper into the topics, not just in online forums and that stuff. You just read, okay, this for that animal, this for that animal, yeah, and everything. But especially in the school, we have 6 weeks, 12 weeks of school in the year, 6 weeks of school in the half year. We learn really a lot about why is it like that, like sometimes we don't even know the answer, and our teacher just says, come on, think guys, from which continent is it, so what you can know about this. And yeah, so we ought to get to this answer, you need to do steps. And yeah, of course, today you just can Google
yeah,
how much humidity does this and this animal need, but also why is it, and when you know why is it, because it's from the tropics and everything, yeah, it's you of course need 1 second to know, oh, in the tropics a lot of plants, probably they cause the humanity, so I need a lot of plants in my tank and everything. um yeah, that changed. um Let me think. When I think about mammals, especially because I don't have fully I never kept mammals in captivity in private. Yeah, there's much more now, much more possibilities how you could keep them if you would. For example, I look now for the short-tailed opossums because yeah, in the night house in the Zoo Berlin, we had one. He was really old and passed away short before I started my apprenticeship, but I saw pictures of him, and yeah, he just looked so cute. And now I am looking for a pair of them to keep them, and also there's the possibilities with how you keep mammals. Not just always you have these wooden chips, and you just put the wooden chips in a terrarium, put them in, and now when you really know how easy it is to activate like this natural behavior. In zoos, we always try to do enrichment, behavior enrichment or environmental enrichment. For example, environmental enrichment would be to put earth in it so they can dig or something. Behavior enrichment to like hide the food, so they need to search for it. And yeah, now I think far more about this most natural, yeah, stuff.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
more the scientific approach, which we also already discussed on. Yeah, it's nice to see the parallels.
yeah, yeah, and also um, maybe you learn that animal keeping is a skill, and you develop that skill in the school, and you have much quicker progress than what you would have if you just did it on a
Yeah,
weekend. But at the end of the day, you learn how to think about animals, and there's other professionals teaching you how to do so. Yeah, and yeah, back a couple of episodes back, we had this episode, Science-Based Husbandry, which is also which was speaking about researching the species that you want to work with very well, understanding where to find the data about the habitat, the climate data, the pictures of habitats, also other species who live in the same habitat so that you can adjust or adapt some learnings from another species onto this one, plants, and all of that. And there we got to see that it's a certain process, like how to get to the right solution or the best possible solution. It is researching this, and then connecting some topics, and then you finally have a good view of how to do it, you know? And yeah, seems like that's what you learn at school,
I
and you're
would
getting paid for
really,
it.
yeah,
we started with how to feed and how to give. There's much more than just what you feed. For example, there's horses and cows that you feed them like from the right direction because naturally they pick the grass up from the ground, and then yeah, okay, just put it on the ground. But then they have sand in it. That's not good because then they have problems with their with their belly and everything. So it's even if it's like with cows and horses, standard animals, um, things like that yeah, I love to learn about because often in school and it was yeah, why do I learn it? But now, especially when you then back in the zoo and you really see, oh yeah, we really do it like that, how we learned it in the school, then you just walked through a zoo with a completely different view of view because you think, oh, okay, now the feeding place for the monkeys are there because so they can reach it better and
Yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff.
The
And
nesting boxes, the
yeah,
substrate.
all of that. The plants and how it's structured. You see I also learned it in like the private lessons I told you about because for my final exam I the guy who do it with me, we stand for a few cages and he's enclosures, and he just says, "So, tell me something about it." And even if I don't know the animal on it, alone from the enclosure, you can take a lot of things out from the animal. For example, we have Japan macaque in the zoo.
It's another type of monkey, macaque.
Yeah, from Japan. You know those with the red faces who always
The ones who like to
are
take the
in the
bath, the hot
yeah in the
tubs.
pool.
Ah,
Yeah,
these,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, they live in big groups, so the enclosure should be big, yeah, of course. But also there's these groups, those are like 3 to 4 to 5 to 10 harems, like small families who are together. And between those families, there can sometimes be a little bit of anger. So, like, you have a big hill in the middle, so they can hide from each other and
Ah,
all that stuff. And
and that's how you
then
can keep two groups in a huge setup with a
no,
high hill in between middle,
no, not two groups, like one big group, but
but
who
two males
sometimes,
with a couple of
yeah,
women around them.
yeah, they
Okay.
when there's enough food and everything, they live happily together. But yeah, sometimes that there can be a little bit of
Hmm.
dominant stuff, and yeah,
Okay.
and then you see, oh yeah, the electric fans, and I think how you call it in English, like dry
Uh,
Trockengraben.
Drow.
No.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's in zoos you see it always that the enclosure is like going downward, and then like here's the wall and here's the
Yeah.
for the visitors.
So you
And
look down as a visitor, you
yeah,
look down the
and
wall
but
and
the animals can also go like in this.
yeah,
Yeah, I
but
don't
they
know how
It's
to
can't
like a
explain.
climb
water
up to
But
it.
area
yeah,
with no
but
water.
anyways, that's often is it like that. For example, with the kangaroos, they could jump easily over that, or with the antilopen and everything,
Uh-huh.
they could jump easily over it. But it's more like for the mind. It's so it's going down and then up,
Uh,
and
couple years ago, there was an incident in a zoo in Cologne, if I remember correctly, where there was a cheetah, gepard, a cheetah
Oh,
who jumped out of the enclosure after living in the enclosure forever. I think he was in there for probably over 10 years, never escaped, and then suddenly he realized, oh man, if I want to, I can jump over the fence.
yeah, it's with a
yeah.
lot of animals
Yeah.
actually like that, but they of course also a little bit scared of the visitors. And don't forget about it. They we really take great care of them. They in their enclosures they have everything they need. With the most animals, it is like that, and so they don't want to escape. They just live their happy lives. They're safe there. They know that they're safe there. They get have their food freshly every day. They have their water place and everything. So yeah, even if it sometimes look small for the visitor, they think, "Hey, why don't they just jump out?" Not always about the play, about the space. It's um, often about how you how you enrich them with
Yeah.
different stuff. So, for example, for oh no, I don't know, Hirsche,
Deers.
Deers?
deers and everything. It's so simple to enrichment. Just put a few sticks in it there, and then they like scratch. And when they have their
Antlers.
Atlas.
that's not horns, because horn is like
Antler.
from a cow. But yeah,
You call it antler.
um,
Yeah.
they scratch and everything,
All right.
and then they just happy. And often it's so easy to enrich them, and yeah, you just have to know about how you do it.
Hmm. I'm thinking enriching mammals and enriching large animals, that's one thing. Enriching reptiles, that's another discipline. And did
I,
you already think about what possibilities you can see there? And also, how can you do it safely? Because you don't want to throw in everything that you can find outside. But I don't know, maybe on the other hand, it can be cool. Some leaves from the forest or something. I don't know. Do you already think about that, or are you still waiting for
Yeah,
you
I think
to?
about it. I think about it a lot, but I don't have the experience because
Mm.
for now I didn't work at the aquarium.
Yeah.
But it's, for example, different substrates, different kind of plants, to with like this high intelligent lizards to structure the terrarium with the sticks like once a month, every 2 months, so they have something new. Of course, hiding food, and then it's also again more for mammals, but you can also take it for reptiles, I think. Breeding is like the highest of enrichment you have. When you let female and male together, they for weeks they try to, yeah, pair, and then when the female have to search for a perfect spot to lay the eggs, or then with the mammals when they raise the youngs, there's no better enrichment for a mammal than, yeah, to have the babies and
Hmm.
learn the babies which food is good and how to climb, for example, and all that stuff. Yeah, there's no better enrichment.
I'm pretty curious what you will learn in the time in the aquarium and terrarium section. And if you like to, it would be really cool to talk to you again on the podcast.
In like a
At
year or
the
two from
yeah,
now.
Yeah,
because
that would be
then you
cool.
get also some super cool insights, I think, on
Yeah.
That's
like
for sure.
reptiles and different methods. Yeah,
Yeah, hopefully then my English is also better.
yeah, it's totally fine. Don't worry, don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and something, because in the start you say that's also for the people who maybe think about becoming a zookeeper. Now I gave some examples of, yeah, like do this for the monkey cage, the monkey enclosure. Yeah, of course it took me a few days to do it, like every day, like 2 3 hours, and I wasn't alone. But of course, that's not the only thing you do. In general, you can say in probably every department, it's like before 1 o'clock, before, yeah, before, yeah, probably before 1 o'clock, it's always the same. You just clean the cages.
Mm.
It's not like that it's boring, but it's halt always the same. For example, in the fasanerie, where they have the in Berlin, it's like a really long hallway for the zookeepers, and yeah, you go in every enclosure, take the
Hmm.
water, mix the water fresh, take the old food to the next, same. Then in the kitchen, you cut the fruits to do it on the different, and the corns and everything,
Mm.
do it on the different plates, and bring it to the different enclosures for the birds. Then you also have to collect the the shit. It's, yeah, always the same. For example, you go to the flamingos, and they have in the inside of the house they have just beton as
Concrete
their
floor.
concrete floor. And first you spray a little bit of water so the shit gets red. Then you, for, I don't know, almost 1 hour, because we have a lot of flamingos, and also to the flamingo house there are also the seabirds. You have to,
Oh,
with the you have to scheuern, I don't
yeah.
know,
Scrub it
just
off.
Scrub,
Yeah.
yeah.
scrub it off, and then
Yeah.
with water flush it down
How does it
into the.
smell?
Hmm?
How does
No,
it
no,
smell?
it smells like nothing for me. It's always, because of the seabirds, a little bit fishy, but
Uh,
Mm.
for the first 3 days, and then the next 3 weeks you don't smell it.
yeah. Okay.
It's fast that you get used to it. Also
Can you
with
take a
with
shower at the
now.
zoo?
Yeah, normally everyone takes a shower after the zoo. We have showers there. I don't do it because it would cost me too much time. Directly after that, of course, I wash hands and everything. Directly after that,
We surely hope
To the
so.
gym right away.
but right away to the gym, and after the gym
Oh,
shower. So
nice. That's
yeah,
good.
there's no sense for me, because after the gym I have to shower and definitely. So why
Do
shower
your
2 times
do
a
your
week? So.
homies ever ask you why you smell like shit and fish?
Oh, if you would know, like we have this water, um, was heißt
Basin?
Graben?
Yeah, or
Water basin that
yeah.
like from the bears to the
Uh-huh.
visitors. So the bears can't get to the visitors because
Okay.
okay, bears can swim, but there's
Water
like a
barrier.
whole
Yeah, water
water
poop
barrier.
barrier, whatever.
And once a year it gets cleaned and all the water gets out, and then on the floor it's like I don't know exactly that height that your Gummistiefel,
Yeah,
Your
the rubber boots.
boots. Yeah, rubber boots.
rubber boots, exactly that height that they're not enough. So all the brown stuff, bear
Shit,
shit,
what is
and
that made of?
everything. It's
What
made
can
of
you find in there? Do you also find like
bone.
smartphones and GoPros and stuff?
No,
Money?
small plastic stuff from the zoo shop and that stuff.
The
But
trash.
you find a lot of bones, a lot of rotten meat, and it smells
Blech.
horrible. But yeah, it's not too bad. It
But I mean,
smells,
it's
but after
one
that,
day in a year, so
yeah, yeah. I think it's 2 days
yes, that's
because that's a lot. But
a lot
yeah,
of shit.
it's like
Yeah, but
sometimes
you
you
will
have
get
the
used to it,
special
right?
things. Yeah, of course. And when you know, for example, with the monkeys, they only eat some vegetables and insects. So what can be in the shit? It's just vegetables and insects. So you grab them when they're alive and fresh. So why don't grab them when they threw the monkey? just don't think about it. And yeah, you get used
Yeah,
to it.
you
You
probably
have your
develop.
work clothes. They get washed from the work, so you go when you're home. You're fresh, so all good.
Yeah, makes sense. Probably the what is the easiest type of poop to deal with? Is it the horse poop and stuff because it's only grass, fermented grass?
But it's heavy. But it's heavy, and it's on big enclosures. So
And it's
you
huge
have to
animals, so
walk from
huge.
poop to poop.
Yeah, true. You have
Um,
to cover some distance.
the
And that's why you want
easiest
to work with the fish.
yeah, just a little bit water out, a little bit water in. Finish. No, probably the easiest shit is from the small, from like small mammals like kobaris and that stuff.
Okay.
It's just like hamster poop or something dry,
Yeah,
small,
especially if
kept
they have a certain
away.
place where they always go. I think
Yeah,
you call it
yeah,
latrine.
yeah,
Yeah, where they always
yeah.
take their shit. So you have
You just have
just
to
one shop
But
and that's
pick
it.
from
the
the
shit corner.
from
Yeah.
the pygmy, Zwergseilnäpfchen, pygmy.
Pygmy marmoset.
Yeah, it's cool because of all the Gummi arabicum. It's like stones coming out, and you don't nothing gets from
Can you
normally you
even
have
find
to
it in a
no
huge enclosure with pine bark
no,
and
you
on
don't
the
find it.
ground? Yeah,
You don't have to clean it
yeah.
because it just no, you don't find it. Mostly with the small marmots, you don't take the shit away like once a week or something because you don't find every day something. You have to take away the food from yesterday. That's the point. Yeah, I started with like the day routine until 1 o'clock. Every day is the same almost, and from there on, there are like the special things where build something, do enrichment for the animals, or do like a cleaning action where you have a bigger enclosure, like totally cleaned, so it's
Mhm,
completely clean. And then the next 1, 2, 3 weeks, it's a little bit easier to clean there,
mhm.
and yeah, all that stuff.
Are you working more in a team or are you working for yourself and by yourself?
Um, Depends on it. Mostly, you do it. The most things in where I was from now on, you do everything alone. You in like the first 2 to 3 days, you get worked in. everyone, they show you how you do it, and then you work alone. Because it has to do with the architecture of the old houses. We have really old houses, like 100 years old. Like, for example, our house where the giraffes are in. It looks beautiful, but also like the old houses, they're not so beautiful. For example, for our primates, it's functional, of course, and because we connected a lot of cages, the monkeys have really much space, but the entrance to the cages, to the enclosures, they're so small. You have to crawl in. And I'm not the smallest person. I always bang something, and then all the sticks are hanging from the top of the enclosures, and you always bang your head when my inspector is hearing that. She's probably get angry because you always say, "Take attention, don't bang your
like,
head." Then because then we have to fill out this paper that you get hurt at work, and so. But what should you do? What should you do? It's just like that. But everything in the zoo gets renovated. Probably heard about that. Also for the cats, it's pretty new. I think just 3 years old from now on. They like in almost every animal house you have now 3 cages to uncage. Back then there was like the jaguar and the leopard. This cage, and now it's just for the leopards and everything.
Yeah.
So in some places it's small, so you can only work alone, especially in the bird section, because birds often are really shy, and you just can't get into the aviary by yourself, because otherwise they would I don't know, fly against the cages and fly against the wire and everything.
Yeah. So in general, the zookeeper job, is it more a job for people who like to be social, or is it more for individualists who, tend to focus more
Interesting
on things than
question.
humans? Because
Interesting
maybe
question.
I want to add something, because on the one hand, I'm thinking it is very important that you are no, oh no, so let me say it differently. Maybe the zookeeper career is interesting to introverts, because maybe you can say introverts are more interested in things and extroverts are more interested in people. So you need to be interested in the thing of the animal and the keeping and the whole process behind it and the technical side and the nutrition and everything. It's very thingy, But on the other hand, if you want to have an impact with conservation programs, for example, establishing species, breeding stuff, and so on, then you need to network very well, because you need to know all the experts. You need to speak to everybody. You need to collect all
Go
the
to
knowledge.
conferences.
Yeah, you need to go to conference. You need to give talks, maybe. Then you need to have good ideas and exchange with people. And so that's maybe more for the extroverts. And yeah, maybe that's just two different roles in the zookeeper career. The expert in the keeping and the expert in the connecting and stuff. Where do you see yourself? What do you think about it?
We actually talked about that in school with our math teacher, so it was like off topic, but it was pretty interesting, because he has the feeling you can also do the apprenticeship as a zookeeper just in the school. You don't have to be like in the zoo. You can just do it in the school and then have practicas
Internship.
Internship,
thanks. In zoos or in dog shelters and everything like that. And he has a feeling that in this apprenticeship, just for the people who not like are in a zoo, they just do part of the time in zoos and that stuff. It's often that the job center is saying, "Oh, you don't like people. So maybe zookeeper would be a great thing for you, because then you work with animals. And we came to the conclusion that you have to be good with people, and because you have to be, how can I say it? You have to be emotional to also understand how the animals feel.
So
And
some sort of empathy towards the
yeah,
animals.
yeah, exactly. Because when you just say, "Oh, I can't work with people, I don't understand them," you probably also don't understand what the animals want from you.
Huh.
When they behave differently and everything, you have to see that. And when you're like, just I do everything the same and just shit away and we're finished, yeah, it's not so good. So you have
need
to
to
be,
appreciate the living thing and not just the animal as a collectible. Like, okay.
Of course, you can be introvert and also really care about the animal and everything. I think everything is possible, and in general, it calms you down when you work with animals. That's a big plus in my job. When like I have the head full of stuff and yeah, I need to concentrate because you can make a lot of mistakes with animals. Every time you open an enclosure, it's dangerous, really dangerous. Not because tiger is behind it, could be, but also the smallest bird, when it flies out of the enclosure, you have to catch it with a net. It's harmful for the animal. You need to always give 100%. For example, with the primates, we are not allowed to enter the most cages when the primates are in. Whether we have a few with the really small primates, we can go into the enclosures. But so we need to put them from one enclosure to the other enclosure, and then close the door between it. And often there are more doors, like one door outside, one door to this side, one door to this side, and then you have to look, oh, is there maybe a monkey up there? And if you don't see them, they could harm you. You could harm them. And yeah, you have to give always 100%. And yeah, I think everyone can do it. No, not everyone can do it, but everyone, like an introvert and extrovert, they could do it. But yeah, there are also, I think, some people who definitely couldn't be a zookeeper because they in their head always far away. And yeah, it's not just dangerous for you, it's dangerous for the animal also. And even if you work with goats or something, every time you give them grass or something, you have to look if there are any sharp things in it. And you have to be so aware about everything around them, not just do your routine, because that's really dangerous. You don't see when something is wrong, when the goat is having like some hoof problems and limping and all that stuff. Or even if you take the shit away, for example, when we work with the flamingos and I see, okay, everything looks normal, but there and then there the shit is a little bit watery. So I tell them, and when I'm back in the department, hey, I saw that and that. Or if a monkey have red blood, then oh no, it could in the case I had, it was because we were feeding him rote Beete, like something red. And so yeah, the shit was red. But you have to look at everything. If you see worms in the parasites, yeah, one of our teachers said to us that like small veterinarians, not like the profis, the real veterinarians, but we're like the first when because a lot of things when you see, oh, the shit is a little bit watery, yeah, just feed more carbohydrates. then mostly it goes away, or feed them something drier. And not so much fruits, maybe cut from 3 apples to 1 apple for a few days and look if it's get better. And only if it don't get better, you call the veterinarian, because the time is not expensive, but the time's limited, because we have like, so I don't know, 3 veterinarians or something for the whole zoo, and you can't call for every shit problem veterinarian. So yeah, a lot of with the animal's health is related to how you be aware of the animals and his surroundings, and for that you need to be focused, and for that you need to understand the animal and how it feels, and for that it can be helpful for be not like extrovert, but to be social. You need to be kind of social. Also because when you have like misunderstandings with colleagues, like they say, the animals are closed or something. They closed away the animals. You can go in. Are they closed out? Are they closed in? Are they in the enclosure outside? Are they inside? And when you're too scared to ask that, you can make a lot of mistakes. Even with like small pigs, we have those pigs from South America.
Peccari.
Peccari, genau.
Nice.
And they like, it's just a small pig. When there's just one pig, I could probably, of course, don't want to do that. I could probably kill it with my bare hands, just hit it a few times. But there are 40 of them in the enclosure. And when you go there on the enclosure and you just fall or something, because you get, I don't know, dizzy in your head or something, they can easily kill you, and they don't do it on purpose. They just do it, and what do you want to do about it? And so you have to always say to your colleagues, I'm now onto this. I'm now doing this. I'm now there, and maybe the example wasn't the best, but all that stuff.
But I understand it, because animals can be dangerous, especially a lot of the zoo animals.
I also think that most people underestimate it, right? Because you always think of the big cats, the bears, venomous snakes, but like you said, a pig or a cow, if they run you over, it's a huge
wild
animal.
horse or something.
If they panic, they could easily kill you or
Antelope,
kick you in the head or something. Yeah.
some birds.
I just wanted to bring this example. The smallest birds, when they fly against you or something, it happened one time to me with an ibis. He was scared and fly in my face. Nothing happens, of course, but it hurt, and it was just a small bird. And now,
but if you're
imagine,
unlucky, and the beak goes into your eye or something.
Now imagine something with my eyes or something. You can go blind just from a small bird. And when you work one day with this animal, probably nothing's gonna happen. But when you work every day for years with this animal, even if it's harmless, one day there could be something that could kill you, that could kill the animal. Of course, the worst case, but that could hurt you, could hurt the animal, probably would be better to say. And this that are things you have to be aware of when you want to be a zookeeper. You need to know that a lot of weight is on your shoulders, because the curator and the chefs from the departments and everything, they trust you, that you be 100% there, and that you close every door. And we have like this Schleusensysteme.
You have these, I don't know, doors that connect the enclosures. Oh no, the double doors.
Double doors.
Yeah, double
You
doors.
enter an enclosure, it's double doors. Okay.
Yeah, and that you're there really close the first door before you take the second, because especially some small birds, they're really not just expensive, they also are really worthful for the whole population
Mhm.
because they're really endangered. And when they when something happens to them, it's not just, oh no,
You
the
can't
bird is
replace it.
dead.
Yeah.
You just can't replace it because they every animal and any individual is worth it for the population in the wild, because the most animals we have are really endangered in the wild, and we call it, yeah, reserve populations. Zoos
Mhm.
often, yeah, a lot of people say, why don't you release the baby animals into the wild? Because often the space in the wild isn't there, and because the main goal is to have this reserve populations. So when the small populations in the wild are really extinct, you can start to release them. For example, with the Vietnamese pheasant, in a few years, they're extinct in the wild, and it wouldn't make sense like 10 years ago when there were like 1,000 in the whole world in zoos. Release every animal. You started to breed them. So now I don't know the exact number, but probably like 10,000 in zoos in the world. So now when you have when you have a lot of them, you can start to release them. Yeah.
Yeah. It, that makes total sense. Yeah. It's always the big dream, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah,
To
everything we do is to protect the wild animals, and
yeah.
even with the animals who aren't endangered, um, it's to mostly to collect money for the endangered
Yeah. Yeah.
species. And for example, we call it Tierkinderzoo in the Berlin.
Yeah.
It's a petting area where
Mhm.
you can pet the goats and the cows, and the Cameroon Schafe, for example, it's a kind of sheep, and the normal visitor just sees a sheep or a goat or a cow. But even those are, when you look up on Google or something, even those are endangered farm animals because they don't produce such much wool like the modern sheeps. They, yeah, get extinct, and they can have red hooves uh, because they were bred to live in, yeah, red places, for example. And now the problems the sheep today, they have this problem that they always get red feet and then have infections there, but they produce more wool, so we breed them and not those old kinds. And now you could say, yeah, we don't need them because those aren't wild animals. um yeah, but we need them because they all, so they feed the grass from this wetland, they protect this wetland, and so it can regenerate.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Don't you call it uh the one plan approach of the zoo world? Have you heard of that, Gustav? The one
Yeah, I
plan
heard about
approach?
it.
So
Yeah,
this idea of combining the in situ conservation with the ex
it's
situ
the Exito.
programs so that you preserve the animals in the habitat, try to do whatever is possible, but also try to build a strong reserve population so that then there's at least the potential in the future to
Yeah,
work with reintroduction programs, even if that's not done today for almost all of the animals in the zoo world. Probably it's not a topic today, thinking about reintroducing, but we never know what the situation is going to be like in 10, 50, or 100 years from now. And we
yeah,
need to work with what we have and make the best out of it and work for a better future, I would say. And sooner or later, there will be the time when I don't know, the work that we put in today will pay off. Maybe we will
for
be
sure.
still alive to witness it, but maybe not. And still, it will be worth it to invest today. Yeah.
Wise words.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's
thank
see.
you. But yeah, I'm thinking it's really important just because today there is no current reintroduction programs running for some species. It doesn't mean that there will never be. But if we don't do our best today, then in the future probably we will not even have the chance to do so.
Yeah, and you never know what happens to a species if, for example, some crazy new president starts doing fracking again and canceling all conservation efforts or cancels protected lands. Maybe also some species that aren't endangered now or some habitats that aren't in risk of extinction,
Uh-huh.
yeah, face that in the future. So better protect all the species, right?
That's for sure.
Yeah. Gustav, I was wondering, when you think of the aquarium and the terrarium in Berlin, for our listeners who don't know, they have a pretty nice collection of animals and some pretty interesting ones. Is there a species or are there some species that you are really looking forward to work with? Is there anything where you say, I can't wait to work with that?
Yeah. One of my favorite animals are the crocodiles.
Yeah.
Love every kind of crocodile, and I love the crocodile zoo in Denmark, and
Mhm.
I was there for 15 times probably,
Wow.
and now
Uh-huh.
also be the zoo Berlin and actually work with them then hopefully every day or at least for a half year every day. I will looking forward, and also all this seawater aquarium stuff I'm super interested about, because there's one of the topics for me where I personally think that zoos have a high potential to develop there,
Mm.
because we have today and in the future way more technology, um, things for the water, for the minerals in the water to really look in like on life. What
Have a
are the water
permanent testing.
permanent testing?
Okay.
From now on, you have to send the water into laboratories, and now I also look into the hobby a lot in the sea, in the saltwater stuff, and yeah, almost every month something new is getting developed, and
That's what's crazy about the seawater hobby, right?
yeah,
There's so much
yeah,
money in it. It's just
yeah,
the
it's
more
unbelievable.
expensive type of aquarium hobby.
True.
So if you want to say it like that, in the seawater hobby, there's the money. You know, that's where you can. I'm thinking because the corals and stuff, it's so
Mm.
expensive. I don't know. There's so collectible corals and stuff that people like to spend a lot of money on. I don't know.
Yeah, and not just the fish and the corals, especially the technology behind it is super expensive.
Mm.
And I think that zoos have the chance to really develop with companies those techniques. And then when it gets to coral breeding, because we all know the coral reefs are dying, I think zoos have a high chance to do with researchers, to do with universities, things to like find out how to we can protect those coral reefs and that stuff.
Yeah.
And also when it gets to fish breeding, we all know that freshwater fish are getting bred in captivity like it's nothing. Almost every freshwater fish is getting bred in captivity. When it comes to saltwater, it's not so easy. Zoos can breed fish in captivity, and they do it. Saltwater fish, they do it, but it's really expensive. It's really high. Yeah,
Maintenance?
with yeah, it's
Difficult?
just it takes a lot of time to do
Mm.
that, and I think that in the future zoos have the high chance to develop so that almost every saltwater fish is also getting um, bred in captivity like
Mm.
freshwater fish. And when we look at the past years, we can see that not like 30 years back, 99% of the saltwater fish can't be produced or can be reproductive in captivity. The number going down. And of course, it would be better when it's zero, but let's be realistic. In every topic, you can't just go from that to that. It's always a
It's
work in
always a
progress.
spectrum.
It's always a work in progress, and for me personal, it's important that it goes into the right direction, and it's definitely going into the right direction with zookeeping in general. We have today a lot of people who go into zoos or don't go into zoos because they think, the poor animals. And in a few cases, they're right. But when you look in really old animal houses and small zoos, it's just not good. And I think everyone knows that. But when you, for example, go to the zoo in Leipzig, um, there's nothing not good there. They improved so much, and every zoo is going to this direction. Maybe you have heard the news that the Zoo Berlin is going to build a new house just for gorillas, or as far as I know, just for gorillas. And then they want, as far as I know and as far as I read, want to, almost get rid of all other monkeys, like
Okay.
this higher
Yeah, which you
monkeys,
want to focus. Yeah.
they want to focus just on the gorillas and to do this really, really well, and not like back then when just every cage, when you go into the primate house, into the Berlin now, you see a lot of cages, and we have also backstage a few cages. You can also see them when you look like on the roof from outside. So I can tell we have these cages because you can see it from outside. And they empty. But back then, like 40 years back then, every cage was a different kind of primate. And when you think about it, that were probably 50, 60 different primates. And now, I don't know exactly, we have maybe 15 different kinds, 10,
Still a
10
lot,
to 15.
but I
It's
understand.
still a lot,
Yeah,
but and that's with almost every other part also in the, for example, the night house down downstairs from the cat house. Um, from the carnivore house. It's more a carnivore house than a cat house. I think an old zookeeper told me a story. Every cage until 2007 was like 2 to 3 cages, and they kept wombats and everything. And when you are there, you see it's not much when you put like this one cage into 3 cages, and then you see, in there wombat. From now, you can't imagine that, but back then it was normal, and it's good that it's now to getting in the other direction. We also see, like behind you, a big enclosure with just a few animals, and also in the aquaristic, we now take big enclosures with just a few small fish and everything, or insects, because it just looks cooler. And yet, progress you have to go through to get rid of those old animal houses and to build new ones. You can't just go from today to tomorrow and have like a brand new zoo. It would be cool, but it's not possible.
yeah. Also, it's
And
sometimes
so
historic
from
buildings, and you're not even allowed
yeah,
to
yeah,
change the structure so much.
yeah. Yeah, so for me as a zookeeper, I'm really happy that it goes into this direction, because that means that we can focus more on the different on the kinds that we have. Then
On the
they
details
are
too.
less on the
Yeah,
detail, and not just have to rush from one cage to another, from kind to kind. Um, and for example, when we look in Berlin, we have the Tierpark Berlin and the Zoo Berlin. And for example, in the Berlin Zoo, we have the lions, and in the Tierpark, they had lions, but now they don't have them anymore because we like focus now on the lions and they focus more on the tigers. Okay, it's a bad example because we also have tigers, but when things like that happen in the future more and more, like that zoos
Yeah,
focus more on one kind, not on one kind, but on a different,
yeah.
on few different
Specialize,
kinds,
do a better
specialized. Yeah,
job,
exactly.
and then
Yeah,
distribute the amount of species over
yeah,
the whole network of zoos and not have everything at a single place
yeah.
everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it goes into this direction since years, and yeah, we will see in how far that goes.
hmm
But
An
yeah, it's
interesting time,
definitely.
right? Because for you, you're now becoming a zookeeper, and you also get to know aspects of this old keeping style. You get to know the old zoo world, and now you're evolving with the zoo system. And maybe in 20 years, it's completely different, and you are the
Yeah,
kind of old zookeeper telling the new
Yeah,
apprenticeship.
back in the
Back in my
day,
days,
we
we
had
still had this and
enclosure
that.
for
So
only one species.
yeah,
Can you
that
imagine that?
I'm a little bit too late. I'm maybe 10 years too late. Like 10 years
yeah.
ago, it would be definitely the
Yeah.
case. But yeah, I'm 10 years too late. Luckily, I'm grateful that it's not anymore like this. I think every zookeeper is grateful like this because as a zookeeper, you try to be the to take the best possible care for the animal you
Yeah.
have. But there are things you can't decide. You can't say, okay, now I build this cage bigger because the zoo has a program it goes through.
Costs a
You're
lot of
limited by
money.
money,
Yeah.
you're limited by time and everything. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a progress. Everyone in the zoo tries to work forward to take the best possible care for the animals. And yeah,
Okay, yeah, totally makes
Very
sense.
interesting.
Yeah, gonna be interesting. So we should definitely have you on again in 2027 or something like
yeah,
that.
hopefully.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, nice. Is there anything that you want to say that we did not speak about yet?
Not really, just for the listeners, when you want to be a zookeeper, it's definitely a great job because yeah, you work with animals. It's such simple. Um, yeah, but it's also a hard job. It's you have to be fit. It's like for real, not just a little bit fit. You have to stand for 8 hours a day. Depends on the department where you are, and it's also sometimes really heavy when you have like special things. For example, 5 days and 4 days ago for the Pekaris. We have two Pekaris enclosures, and no, one Pekari enclosure and one Hirscheber enclosure. I don't know the English
Uh-huh.
word for that. But and they were because when you every day you take the shit, a little bit of sand goes down, and after a time you don't have so much sand on in the enclosures, so you have to fill it up. And yeah, a few of me and my friends, um, we like filled the whole day. We filled this enclosure with sand. I
Oh,
think it was 13 tons of sand we moved that day. That's hard. At the end of the day, you're lucky
no
that you
gym
can
needed
lay
after
in
that.
your. Yeah, no, definitely not. You're lucky that you can lay in your bed and just, oh, no, I
hmm
just want to sleep, nothing more. And or when you work with big cows like bisons or something, yeah, the shit from them is really heavy. You have to move the the hay,
Hey.
Hey, yeah.
yeah, because they eat a lot, and also with the birds are small and don't have so much shit. When it dries out and you have 2 hours on a day, you have to brush the sticks so they're not white because yeah, bird shit is white. Um, yeah, it's hard, but when you see on the end of the day the results, the animals lay down and they just chilling and they happy and then enclosure who is completely clean. I think it's worth it because it like has also a higher purpose. Not every job has a higher purpose, and so you really know you did something. So those Weisens, I think maybe in English, I don't know. Um, this Wiesente, they really getting into nature, not this Wiesent, but the calf of this Wiesent. Or with, for example, Waldtrappen. I cleaned the enclosure from the Waldtrappen and I feed them every day for 3 weeks, and I really know the kids from them. They're really getting into nature, and that's just something I think it's worth to do a hard job for. And or when it's, for example, with animals who not go into nature because of there are hundreds of things it's not possible. Yeah, you know that you provide them from getting extinct, and you know that the money, for example, we have the Artenschutz-Euro, so every visitor pays €1 when he gets a ticket, and this €1 goes to
Conservation.
yeah, and yeah, it's really a job that matters for me, and yeah, it's worth it, even if it's hard.
Yeah, I can
Damn.
imagine if it has a purpose.
Yeah,
You definitely go to work with a different feeling than just Monday again. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think with the Waldrapp, they also got the population pretty stable back again, right? They weren't pretty this most beautiful
they were
ugly
almost
bird.
extinct.
Yeah.
They were almost extinct.
Yeah, but that's real life conservation. And I'm crossing fingers for you and your career that I'm crossing fingers that you will have amazing steps ahead of you. And I'm sure that there will be great things that you will still see and do. And especially if you can manage to go abroad somewhere else to do your job to evolve your career. And yeah, maybe there's somebody out there listening to this right now who is involved in a conservation program somewhere in Africa or Asia, South America, wherever. Get in touch with Gustav, right? Where can we find you, Gustav? On Instagram? What is your handle on Instagram?
My Instagram is private because, as you know, I post not just about animals, also like shit from me and my friends. But maybe I will make another Instagram just for my animals. I'm planning that for almost years now.
All right,
So yeah, I will do it, and maybe you can
do
put
that.
the
Let
name
us know.
just in the Spotify title or on the
Yeah.
YouTube title or something.
Yeah.
So when weird Insta name is standing in the title, yeah, that's my Insta.
And you could be the
I
first
think you
follower.
have we give you time for 3.5 weeks and then the episode will be published. So until then, have your Insta ready. Nah,
Yeah,
just kidding. Take your time. But we will
no,
definitely link you under the episode in the Instagram post if you
All
like.
right.
And
Great.
in case you're ever in the Zoo Berlin and you see me, could be, could not be, yeah, just say hello or don't do it.
Don't be shy. Ask for a
Yeah,
picture.
I
Come on.
no, not for a picture, please, but maybe there are often visitors who are really really like our job, and they love getting involved into something and love when you tell them like a story about the animals, because we have of course shields for the animals, but they have all important information, because that's obviously one of the things that we have to do, give the visitors informations, because they can yeah bilden, they can
Uh,
Educate.
educate themselves, but a few things you just can know as a zookeeper. So
okay.
yeah,
Don't be
when
shy.
you
Ask for
have
the ask
when
for
you
the
have
special
a
secrets.
question and everything. You just can, for the most part, the zookeepers like it when you have like real questions and not just where's the toilet.
Okay, nice.
Nice. Good to know that. Okay.
Was great to have you today, Gustav.
Thanks a
Really?
lot for your time and the
Yeah,
insights.
that's for
Thank
sure.
you for inviting me. I'm really grateful for that. I hope my English wasn't too bad and that I made every of my points clear enough. And yeah, that maybe you now know a little bit more about the life of a zookeeper.
Okay,
Perfect.
amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. If there are any questions, just reach out to Gustav directly or write a comment. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a like. Did I miss anything, Till?
Say something nice. Pet your pets from us. I don't know. All right, lovely listeners.
All right, then
See you soon.
that's it.